We continue our conversation now, and Jesse, I'll begin with you. You're an historian. I remember walking through Henri Saint-Chapelle in Europe, the World War II cemetery, and looking back and just having a sense of loss and bewilderment, wondering how could mankind be so cruel to mankind? We have now lost more than 300,000 people to coronavirus. Poverty has claimed its fair share of victims, depression, mental health, cancer, heart disease, diabetes, everything you can possibly imagine that could go wrong may have gone wrong in 2020. As we look back, how should we remember 2020, and should we be forced to remember 2020?
Well, I think most people will try to put this year behind them. They won't want to remember. But keep in mind that we lost maybe around 3,000 plus people on September 11th. We've lost 300,000 people to the coronavirus. Yet there probably will be no memorial besides gravestones for those people. In fact, we just lost one of the icons of country music, Charlie Pride, to coronavirus. There won't be a coronavirus memorial in the United States that will be put up by our government. I think most of us will want to put 2020 behind us. But what we shouldn't put behind us are the lessons that 2020 taught us, that we have to be prepared for things like a pandemic. We have to be prepared for things that happen, like what happened with the police and minority communities, and we have to plan for it for the future. The only thing worse than a disaster is a disaster that happens again because we didn't learn the lessons the first time. So as we put 2020 behind us, the memorial should be the lessons that we learned so it will never happen again.
Dr. Dibinga, after World War II, there was the Berlin Wall, there was the Marshall Plan. There were people that said that we should never forget. And yet, now we are at 2020 and we are talking about a divided society. We are talking about a post-racial America. We're talking about a post-racial Europe. Should there be memorials to make sure that maybe the next time we don't forget?
Absolutely. Look, 2020 is supposed to be about perfect vision, right? And we need to use 2020 to really see where we are as a society. And what 2020 has done, which we must never forget, it has reminded us about every single structural inequality that we have in this country and in the world, whether it's economic, political, educational, whatever. When we talk about the digital divide, it has all been exploited and accelerated. What coronavirus did, it didn't end things, it accelerated things that were going to happen over the next 10 years. So the increase in the digital divide, the joblessness, the changing in society in terms of the types of jobs that people needed, all of these were on trajectory to happen within the next 10 years. It just exploded in 7-8 months. And we ignored each other. We forgot about man's humanity to man. I don't care about where. I remember with coronavirus, we were all in this together until the racial data came out. He had Trump declaring, state of emergencies and the like, until people realized that poorer people, darker people suffered more. And then it was everyone for themselves. And so we have to remember 2020 as the year that we turned our backs on each other. And we have to go forward into 2021, remembering the lessons of humanity and vowing to make sure that this never happens again. And any member of any party can do that if they choose to.
Joe Pinion, your thoughts?
I mean, I would have to agree. I mean, I think on some basic level, we as a society found a way to bring out the worst in each other. And look, there was a lot of good that came out in this. There's reports about, record givings to charities, record levels of support that we've given to our neighbors. But, I think to me, what haunts me is this notion that we could turn a blind eye to the suffering of others simply because of our politics, really simply in the name of one man. I saw on Twitter, I'll leave the brother nameless, but talking about that, we need to give each other more grace in this time of great need and great healing, because of the fact that so many people are distressed from a mental health standpoint. And then the next point in the thread was, except for people who voted for Trump because they don't deserve any grace, right? It's just like, I think you have fundamentally misunderstood the definition of the word grace. And so I think at some point, if we don't understand that we cannot mirror the activities and the behaviors in society we seek to drive out of society and think that we're going to arrive in a better place, then 2020 would have been for naught. Those 300,000 plus souls that would have lost their lives would have been for naught. It is up to us as the people of this nation to define what the character of this nation is going to be. And my fear is that in this moment, we are still trying to lay our burdens down at the feet of one man. For better and for worse. And this nation will not become the America we are destined to become if we allow one person to drive families apart, if we allow one person to drive the entire narrative. And certainly when it comes to getting justice and equality for Black people, we have to know extensively that it's about us finding the strategies that get us where we need to get. And no one is going to come us here. No benevolent white people with deep pockets are going to get this done for us. It is going to be a movement of us, by us, to secure the outcomes that Black people deserve.
When we come back, his name is Mud. Stay with us.